Hey, welcome back my favorite game developers. In this video we are going to be adding reload animations to all of our guns. So right now when we shoot, we reload, we actually have some kind of reload animation. We then shoot the rifle, we also have a reload animation, and we also have the sniper reload animation. We can also reload the sniper. Very nice. And we also have the reload for this one, but I'll keep it a surprise for the end of the video. With that said, let's not waste any more time and let's get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and create some animations for our guns. So we're going to start with the pistol. I'm going to create the pistol animation and the rifle animation, and then maybe I'll skip through those so you can do it on your own. So let's go ahead and put the game window in here next to the inspector and make it bigger so we can see all of that. And we're going to go into the player in here. We're going to go to the animations, and because the player already has an animator on him, we are going to create a new clip in here. And we're going to, yes, in animations, into the player animations, and we'll create a folder in here that we'll call the weapons reload. And in here we'll call this the pistol. So the pistol reload animations. Save all of that. Okay, so now what we're going to be animating is actually the pistol prefab. So this will entirely be dependent on you. So it's the way you want to create your animations. I'll just show you how I make them look nice, and then you can go ahead and do your own. So first of all, let us look at the pistol, go to the inspector and see how long it takes to reload. So it's 2. So we have 2 seconds to reload our pistol. We're gonna keep this in the game view so we can see how it looks. So we click on the pistol prefab and we hit the record button. So first of all, let's see, we have 2 seconds. Let's make the time like 2 seconds. Okay, so we have all of this to work in. So first of all, let's go to the half a second mark, which is the 30. And we are going to move the pistol in front of us. So we're going to rotate it and we're going to move it in front of us just like that, and maybe add a bit of rotation in this direction just like that. So this is the position that we want at this point. We'll then move on, and at the 45 frame we are going to open up the pistol prefab, and in here we can see that we have a couple of things that we can manipulate. So this is the cool thing about these assets. So we can choose the magazine, for example, and we can remove it just like that out of the scene, and then at the 55-minute mark we can go ahead and put it back. So let's go and copy the original. So this is the frame of the original, copy that, let's put it back in here, paste that, so now it goes back to place. Then we can also go to the maybe 65-minute mark and choose the, where is this, the trigger, nope, not the trigger, the slide, the sight, the magazine, light, hammer. So the hammer, and we can move it back a bit, so just like that, and then we can put it back after 5 frames. So let's go back in here, get the hammer, copy the components of the hammer and put them back in here, and then we can go ahead and put the entire gun back. So we go to the position, or we can copy all of these, copy them, and then on the 2 second mark paste them. So let's see how this animation actually works, and you'll see that there is definitely something wrong. So we hit play, and yep, didn't you see that? So you can see that there is definitely something wrong, and the problem is that, let's say when we start in here, when we start moving, all of the animations move together. So you can see that the clip is going out, the hammer is going out, and everything is moving at the same time, and that's not what we want to have. We want to actually, for example, move the pistol in front of us, and then we want to move the clip, and then we want to move the hammer, and when we finish all of that, we want to put the gun back to its place. So the way we do that is we'll actually have to go ahead and copy the original positions that we have and keep them until the next animation moves. So what do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, we want to start moving our magazine. So the magazine, we want to start moving it at this point right here, right? So at the 30 frame. So what we do is we'll go in here. We are going to click on the magazine, which represents this dot right here. We will copy it and we will paste it at this 30-second mark. So now what happens is the magazine stays in place until it hits the 30 frame mark, and then it starts moving, then it goes back. So you can see that right here, from the 00 to the 030, it stays in place and then it moves. Okay, great. So we're going to use this on all of the components. So the hammer in here, so the magazine, I mean in here, when it goes back to place, in here we are going to start moving our hammer. So we'll copy the original hammer position, copy, paste it in here. So now what happens? Our gun moves to the center, the magazine goes back. When it goes to its place, the hammer moves back, it moves into place. And finally, we have the position of our gun. So we need to copy the positions in here. So copy the rotation and the position of the gun, copy that. And we are going to paste them around here. And now, when we play the animation, you can see that we reload and then we put our gun back. So now we have a really nice looking animation. We can save that. And now let's go ahead and actually trigger it from our code. So let's stop this first of all. And let's go into our animator in here, and we're going to, where is the animation? We still don't have it. Let's put it up here, and let's put the game for now back in its place. And let's go to the animator, and in here we have the idle, walking and running. So let's make this a bit smaller so we can see what's happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the pistol reload animation in here. We're going to create a transition from the idle to the pistol reload. Now we can make this from any state, but let's just for now keep it at the idle. And we're going to then create the way back in here. We are going to remove any exit time and stop any, or let's just keep the transition duration, and we can see how this all works. Great. So maybe if we see that we need to remove the transition, we'll do it. So let's create a trigger in here. We are going to call this pistol reload, hit enter, and now we are going to add this condition into our reload in here. Save all of that. Now let's go into our code and actually implement this. So we'll open up our script, and in the gun system we are going to go ahead and create a reference to our animator. So let's put it up here. So public animator, and we'll call this the my animator. And then we are going to, in the reload in here, so in the reload, we are going to go to my animator dot set trigger, and we are going to, let's copy the string reference in here. We'll copy the pistol reload in here, paste it in here, stop all of that. And you know what? I've noticed something, that whenever we reload, the UI canvas actually refreshes before we can use the bullets. So what we'll do is we'll copy all of these, or actually cut them from here, and we are going to put them in the coroutine. So that way, when we reload, we finish the animation and then we have our bullets refreshed in our UI. So let's save that. And now let's go ahead and look how all of this, well, looks in our game. So put the animator in here. Let's move it up so we can see if this works. Let's hit play. And now when we go to our pistol, we shoot a couple of shots. We reload, and we haven't referenced our animator. Very nice. So in the pistol in here, we have the animator. Let's drag the player and it will automatically put the animator component from it, save all of that back in our game, and now hopefully we don't make any mistakes. So we shoot our gun a couple of times, we reload. Very nice. So now we have our reload animations, and I'm not sure if you've noticed, I didn't even notice when we reload, when we finish the reloading, then our UI updates. Very nice. So great. Now that we have this done, let's go ahead and create the rifle animation, and maybe I'll just speed up the process because it will make the video a lot longer than it should be. So, hey, future Michael here. So first thing we did is we put on the game, we turned off the pistol, turned on the rifle, created a new rifle reload, and we are going to start animating. So first of all, I just get the positions that I want. I looked up the reload time. It turns out that all of them have 2 seconds for the reload time. So now I just play around, and first of all I just want to have a feel of what the animation will look like. So at every point I just set the things that are going to move. So the clip will go one up, one down, and then the fusion core also will go back and to the front, and finally I copy the initial positions. And now what are we doing? Well, we are checking to see which animation starts and which animation continues on. And based on that, I'm going to start copying the component of the initial position and pasting them whenever they actually need to start moving. So that way they don't move before they need to. So I'm just basically doing that right now, trying out everything, looking at them, playing around, copying, pasting, seeing if this is the position that actually needs to have. So all of this is through trial and error. That's why I encourage you to actually pause the video and really, like, not just as a challenge, but go and test all of this out for your own. Practice makes perfect. I've done this multiple times until I actually got it correctly. So just testing out everything, saw the position I want, and now the animation is almost finished. I'm just looking through, making sure that the clips don't move too fast. I move the animation around and... Okay, welcome back. So let's see, this is the animation that I've created. So it took me a bit of a while. It will maybe take you more, but for now, let's just keep it at that. So now we have the animation. Let's go into our animator in here, and we have the rifle animation already added. We'll create a transition from the idle to the rifle and a transition from the rifle reload to the idle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create another trigger, and this trigger is going to be the rifle reload. And when we transition there, so let's go into the inspector, we will add this condition in here. So we'll make it the rifle reload. We'll turn off any exit time. And did we keep the transition? Okay, so we kept it. So let's do the same in here. And on the way back, we are going to keep the exit time. And let's make sure that everything is exactly the same. Okay, great. So now we have this transition. Now, how are we going to implement this in our code? So now, if we go back into our code, when we reload, we are reloading the pistol reload. So what should we be doing in here? So should we be adding a ton of if conditions? And if the pistol is equipped, then we can do all of that. But we can do something different. We can actually go ahead and up here, and in here we are going to create a variable, which is a public string, or it doesn't even need to be public, so we can make it a normal string, and we're going to call this the gun animation name. So now we have the gun animation name, and in update we are going to create a animation manager. So it's going to be, of course, the gun animation manager, but we'll just call it animation manager. We are going to go ahead and generate this method. And in here, we are going to be changing the gun animation name. So let me show you what I mean. So let's copy the gun animation name. We are going to use it in here as a string reference. And now we are going to be changing this gun animation name depending on the name of our gun using something called a switch statement. So let me show you what a switch statement is. So similar to if statements, This allows you to add conditional code execution. So let me just show you the structure of the switch statement so you immediately understand what all of this means. So first of all, we write switch, we add the case switch, which will be the gun name, and based on this gun name or based on this case switch, we are going to do something. So if our case is 1, so let's say the case switch is now the gun name, so the 1 will represent the pistol, for example. We are going to execute some kind of code, and in our case we are going to put the gun animation name as the pistol reload. We then write break. We then add another case, so this will be, for example, the rifle. If it's the rifle case, then the code will execute, which will be the gun animation name will be equal to the rifle reload. We then break, and we can add as many cases as we want, and finally we add the default one. We don't need to add anything in here. We can add something in here, and finally we break. So look at the switch statement, understand it, and I'm going to implement it in front of you. So let's go back into our code, and in here we are going to write. So switch, the case will be the gun name. So based on the gun name, we are going to execute some code. So our first case is a pistol. So obviously we should go and always use the... Okay, so our screen is a bit convoluted right now, but no worries. Let's go into our pistol, copy the gun name, so it's the pistol, back in our code. So now when we have this case, our gun animation name will be equal to the pistol reload. Paste it in here. And of course, because this is a string reference, we need to put these two quotations in here, and we write break. Very nice. Now the second case, if we have a rifle with the name of a rifle, we are going to go ahead and create a code in here. So the gun animation name will be equal to the rifle reload. And let's not forget the quotations mark. Very nice. And now we break. Oh, so we didn't add this. Break. And let's also remove this. And finally, we are going to create the default case. And we don't need to do anything in here. We can simply go ahead and break. So you don't need to have the default case, but sometimes it may ask you for the default case. So we'll keep it. We'll save all of that. And now let's go ahead. So we've added the gun animation name, so it will change depending on what we give it or which case we have. So when we go into our game, so okay, this is very confusing. When we hit play, we will have our rocket, no worries. When we switch to the gun, we shoot a bit, we reload. We reload using the pistol animation when we hit tab again. So let me just put the animator in here so it looks better, so we know that it's actually working. So when where is our pistol, we shoot, we reload, the pistol animation reload works. We have the rifle, we shoot around, we reload, and of course the variable animator was not assigned. How many times will I make this mistake until we finally never make it again? So years and years of experience, and still we forget to add the shoot around, reload, and we have our rifle reload. Very nice. Now with that done, it's time for your challenge. And your challenge is going to be to create a sniper and rocket launcher animations. So create a sniper reload animation with its own trigger and transition, make a switch statement exactly for it, and of course do the same for the rocket launcher, and have fun, enjoy it, create your own animation. Maybe you want to have some wacky kind of animation, and always remember that the animations need to be on the actual prefab, not the entire game object, or else it might break it. So with that said, pause the video right now and go to do the animations. Hey, welcome back. So I hope you had fun creating animations, because I sure did. So when we hit play now, and I've put all the guns to be available, so I have the sniper available. So when we reload, this is our reload animation. Cool, right? And let's look at the gun, it also reloads. We look at the rifle, it also has its own reload. And finally we have the rocket launcher. Now I didn't know how to add the reload animation to the rocket launcher, so I came up with this one. So yep, I hope you like that. It's not a bad animation, I think. So with that done, I hope you enjoyed the video. In the next one we are going to be adding ammunition pickup and health pickup. With that said, I'll see you in the next one, and of course don't forget to commit your changes. I will not do that right now, but you should always be doing it on your own. So I'll see you in the next video.